tempted by your eyes. I was tempted. The promises, the
Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down and truly get funky. Let your hair down.
All you gotta do is dance. All you gotta do is dance.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Battle of the Blends. Tonight's tasting is featuring the one, the only San Francisco champion. How will it do? How will it fare against these normal, everyday blends? Some that you can find, some that you can't, and one that may be poised for an upset. Hey everybody, I'm Fred. This is my nightly tasting. I'm doing these every single night. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the little bell so you get reminders about it. We are streaming on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. But the only one that will send you reminders and the only one that I'm guaranteed to continue doing on streaming is YouTube. So if you're not on the YouTube stream, click on that and go subscribe, and you can go back to Facebook or Twitch or Twitter. But I may just do these on YouTube. So make sure you're clicking that subscribe button to stay focused on the tastings. We're doing these every single night, Monday through Friday. We're not doing the weekends because, well, I do have a family, and I did make a promise that I wouldn't do them on the weekends, or at least all weekends. So those may be coming up, but for right now, they are Monday through Friday. Here on the weekend at 1 o'clock every day, I have interviews that are dropping, so make sure that you're tuning in then. And then coming up soon, a little bit of a morning show. So you'll have three videos or streams a day coming from me. So click that subscribe button, and you don't miss a single one. So now let's talk about what we have. Who is in this battle? We have got the Duke. The Duke. Now, the Duke is a blend of Kentucky bourbon, 5 years old. Now, here's the thing. I actually was trying to do a little sleuthing on this particular brand, and I pulled up its original federal filings. Come to find out, O.Z. Tyler applied for their application. So O.Z. Tyler was behind kind of sourcing some of this, or at least their government paperwork. But of course, this is named after, John Wayne, and Duke was a big whiskey drinker. And this is one of their staple products, the one that they're very proud of. So I would be very, very I'll be very, very interested to see how this one does tonight, because I did taste it a couple times. I didn't hate it. I'm not going to say I was like overwhelmed in love with it, but I didn't hate it. Of course, we've got the champion. We have the one, the only Barrell Bourbon, which is a blend of, yeah, boy, that graphic is just eating me up here. What's going on? So it's a blend of 10 to 14-year-old bourbon that is from Indiana, which is obviously MGP ingredients, Kentucky, various Kentucky distilleries, and Tennessee. Now, what you need to know about this one is that it is the champion of San Francisco. Now, I was not a judge at San Francisco this year, but I normally am, and they won Best Bourbon a few years ago. It was Batch 11, and Batch 21, which I named my best blend of straights in 2019, won the San Francisco World Spirits Competition in the bourbon category. Now, here's what's interesting about this, is that this is technically not a bourbon. This is a blend of straight bourbons. And look, we can get all fussy-duddy about the rules and terminology and everything, but what you need to know is that it does matter. And while this is great whiskey, I think the question should be posed, should it not be named Best American Whiskey versus Best Bourbon? And anyway, that is the winner of the 2020 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. So whatever happens tonight, congratulations to Barrell Bourbon on that amazing, amazing victory. So what else do we have? We have got Bulleit Bourbon. This is a brand that we've actually not known that much about in the last few years. See, the story of Bulleit is, it was founded by Tom Bulleit on the fact that he, resurrected his family recipe, and they, he got acquired by Seagram's, and he was using Seagram's liquid. Then Diageo acquired him, but he was basically filling up Bulleit with Four Roses yellow label and increasing the proof. And so that's basically what Bulleit was for all these years. And Bulleit, when Four Roses discontinued that partnership, it was really unknown what was going into Bulleit. And this release is the first time that I have seen Bulleit publicly announce how many distilleries they use in their batching process. 10. They stated in their press release and in all their press materials that they have 10 distilleries that go into a batch of Bulleit. Now, this is the new Blenders creation, and it's called Blenders Select, and it's 3 out of the 10 distilleries. So I find that very interesting that we actually got a little nugget of information on this new product. So stay tuned for how that one tastes. I've not tasted that one, so I'm very excited to see what that's all about. Then we have High West Midwinter's Night DRAM. Now, this is a blend of rye. It's then finished in French oak and port barrels. Now, Midwinter's Night DRAM, and really a lot of the High West products, have always just kind of hit the sweet spot on my palate. And I think it was in 2015, I rated the Midwinter's Night DRAM like a 96, and that remains to be one of my highest scores ever. And so Midwinter's Night DRAM is always an excellent whiskey. Now that does not mean it's going to win tonight. Of course, there's a lot of really good competition for this tasting. It is not blind. Again, I have stated that this is very difficult to do blind when you're doing everything by yourself. And while I could take the time to like write numbers and mix them up and all that, that still takes away time from my other things that I have to do. So right now I'm writing a lot for Forbes. I'm trying to keep up with the coronavirus coverage for my blog. I've got 2 podcasts I'm doing, and I'm doing two streams a day, and planning, plus a magazine. So I have a lot of stuff that I am doing, and as odd as it sounds, the addition of creating this as a blind tasting, I think would be too much. So I have decided to just knowingly taste what these are and be as objective as I possibly can. So now what's next? Now let's see what's next. All right, we lost our... Let's see here. So what is next is Blackened. Now, Blackened is created by the late, great Dave Pickerel. Dave Pickerel was a dear friend of mine. I've stated that many times. Love the man like he was my brother. And this was a blend of rye. Now, he had acquired rye from Canada and Indiana and really all over the place. But this was a blend of rye that was the minimum age of the barrels going in there, as he told me before he passed away, was 7 years old. It is then finished in black brandy casks. Now, this is a very popular whiskey in the world right now, obviously because of Dave, but really because of the people behind it, and that's Metallica. So Metallica, this is Metallica's brand. Metallica, obviously they have this great song called Blackened, but you can see there, that is Dave in the middle of that shot with Metallica. This was taken a couple months, 3 months before he had passed away. And I was actually there during that photo shoot and I interviewed Metallica, spent some time with Metallica, and really are cool. They were really cool people. But, I'll never forget the photographer. He was like, "Oh, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Move over here. Do this. You're beautiful. Oh, give it to me. Yes, baby. You're sexy." I felt like I was in one of those like movies. It was, I was been in a lot of photo shoots, but he was something. But that time was very special to me because, of course, I got to spend it with Dave Pickerel, but also I got to hang out with Metallica, and you can see me laughing there with James Hetfield, Papa Het in the background, and that is me laughing at something that Dave Pickerel said. So rest in peace, Dave. Really, really miss you, but you would be glad to know that your whiskey's doing well, and your whiskey also continues to do good things. So Metallica has actually pledged like $350,000 to help communities and people who've been affected by coronavirus, to include bartenders. Through Blackened and the support of that team, they have pledged $50,000 to the USBG for their Bartenders Relief Fund. And if you have not, go back and check out the relief fund or the benefit that we did here on this on a stream a couple weeks ago of raising money for bartenders. And I think in total we came just under a little under $10,000. So. And that was through various donations, but I just think it's really cool that we see so much love right now for trying to raise money for the hospitality industry. So I think Dave Pickerel would be very happy to know that the people he worked with continues to do good. So here we go. This is a larger tasting than what we have been accustomed to. I do have some just general like thoughts going into this. Is that I have been keeping it to 1 and 2 or 2 or 3 spirits at a time, and now going into it around with 5. there's always that little bit of risk of like, is that too much? So I'm gonna try and keep it as light as possible in terms of my tasting, and I will probably eliminate quicker than I normally do since I have 5. Okay, here we go. So let's start with the Duke. Please get the questions in. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm probably going to skip things like what are my favorite go-tos and what have you. But get the questions in. Right now, I'm tasting the Duke. On the nose, I'm getting some hazelnuts. I'm getting some coffee. And kind of like a cardboard box. I don't know about you, but I never really get that excited when I smell a cardboard box. On the palate, it's pretty hot. There are some elements of fruit there. Maybe like a canned peach. That syrupiness from a canned peach. Yeah, that one's probably going to be getting eliminated pretty quickly. I mean, it's not terrible. It's okay. But I don't think it has the muster to stand up to what's ahead. All right, so Jason Simone has a really good question. Go ahead and answer it here. Who was the first distiller to start blending multiple different distillers together? I mean, this is a practice that's been going on for a long time. You could go back as far as the 1800s of people doing something like this, but in more of the contemporary sense, I would say High West is the one who comes to mind who really brought, made blending cool. Blending, to give you an idea of what blending meant to American whiskey. It starts in the 1800s with the Canadian distillers trying to take away market share, and the distillers fought for the Bottled and Bond Act to push them out in some ways. And then after Prohibition, blends became, they were everywhere and they were considered rot gut. Blending became a really dirty word. It was associated with bad whiskey. And to this day, you'll find that people like Jimmy Russell will say that the term blend is a dirty word in Kentucky. In fact, you can go listen to the interview that I had with Julian Van Winkle that aired today at 1 o'clock. And he talks about that. Blending was just not common. Now, here's the thing: is that's because an American style of whiskey, there's a style of blend that allows for grain neutral spirit. What we have up here, these are not that. It's not that style. They're actually blends of straights. So that means that no flavoring can be added to them. They're all straight whiskeys. So let's go to High West. Oh, yeah, here we go. Chocolate. Cotton candy. Dried apricot. Oh, that's nice. That's really, really nice. It feels a little bit like butter. The question comes in, is it this year's? No, I got this last year. This is 2019. And if you look, this is Act 7, Scene 6. It's up there in the corner. All right, so High West Midwinter's Night Dram. Definitely a contender. It's got, wait for it. It's got the note, ladies and gentlemen. In this Midwinter's Night Dram is a note you know as marzipan. Marzipan is in this High West Midwinter's Night Dram. Giddy up. Giddy up. Okay, so we have a good question I'm at. Let's see here. This is as we go to Blackened, and we're about to taste the Blackened here. And by the way, thanks everybody for joining me tonight. You know, I know there's a lot of places you could be, a lot of stuff you could be doing right now, but it means a lot that you're coming here and enjoying, you know, this community with me. As I bring Blackened to my nose, you know, the question is from Dave Lyons: did Dave start with an idea of the finished product and blend whiskeys in order to get there? Dave actually kind of he's a creative. You know, I would say that he's like he's a chef meeting an a chef meets an engineer, or was, sadly, and he was a guy that just could. You know, he would have a vision, and then he would follow that vision. And then, you know, I think he wanted something to be special for them, and he tried to incorporate the band in the whiskey, and I think he did a good job. So, to answer your question, I don't fully know, but I suspect that he probably came across some those brandy barrels and was like, "Oh man, this is Metallica." So that's probably what happened. Frank asks, like, no sound effect for marzipan. I actually do have an artist who sang marzipan in my in a podcast, and I will be adding that to the mix now that I know how to do all these sound effect thingies. Okay, so I am on Blackened. The nose feels a little soft for me, like meaning like it doesn't feel like it's of high proof. I actually the memory of the proof is not coming to me, so let me check. It's 90 proof, so the alcohol is not really too strong there. After that, I'm getting some boiled peanuts. And then I'm getting like prunes, like a bag of prunes. You open up the bag of prunes and smell it. And then from there, I don't know. Yeah, boy, this is I think I say this every time I taste Blackened, but there's not really a lot of descriptors that can explain, like, I taste rye and single malt at the same time with a little bit of an undercurrent of some other things, like, you know, Blackened, you know, that taste makes it extremely unique. Extremely unique. There's just not a lot of flavor profiles that feel like 3 or 4 different whiskey styles on the palate, and Blackened does. So for that, it's staying in the running. I'm going to go ahead and keep that in the running for tonight. It's definitely better than Duke. I know that's not saying a lot, but it's better than Duke. So now we're going to go to Bulleit. Now Bulleit's thing here is this is a part of they're celebrating women, and this release is from their new master blender, a young woman, and I regret that I can't remember her name. It's Ebony. I can't remember her last name, but she's a young rising star in the business. One of the more challenging things for what I do is that sometimes you get caught up in, like, sometimes a brand can get caught up in some like political strife, if you will, and it's harder to get to them, to have conversations that are beyond like having a sandwich and a coffee and saying like, oh, hey, what'd you think of the 49ers last week? Bulleit, unfortunately, has been facing some family drama there for the last couple years, and it's been more difficult, to cover them, like I would a normal whiskey. And you can Google that if you want. I'm not going to talk about it here because I'm really about trying to keep this about the whiskey and not people's family drama. But by and large, Diageo is love them or hate them, they do a fair job with whiskey. Johnny Walker is a solid brand. You've got Crown Royal, which great brand, and of course George Dickel, which I don't think they do a good job with George Dickel. I think it's changing since Nicole Austin got there, but I think now they're finally starting to realize that, you know what, we have a little bit of a gem here. Well, hello there. Oh, my, oh my. What do we got here? This is coming out of the gate and saying, listen, I'm a bourbon, and I'm here to party. I got some flavor up in here. Oh yeah, that's so nice. Okay, so what we have here, we have a quintessential bourbon nose. It's got some caramel to it. It's got some cinnamon, a little bit of undertones of nutmeg. But what I really, 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 really like about it is there is a particular smell of like hard candy that's been left in a car. You know what I'm talking about? Like anyone who has a kid they've inevitably had that kid leave candy in the car. Well, when hard candy melts together and it's hot in the car and you pull it out, you smell it. Think of melted candy canes together. That is what I'm getting here. Melted candy canes. And that's right. Ebony Major. Ebony Major is the blender. Thank you, Top Shelf, for that. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn. Damn. That son of a bitchin' good right there. Wow. It's got complexity to it. It's got it is really, really, really good. They don't have a proof on here. I don't know what the proof is, but I like it. Here it is. There on the side. 100 proof. These sample bottles, sometimes they lack just things on there. Brendan Hogan asks, Out of pure curiosity, have you tried black box whiskey? And if so, did you think or do you know who it is sourced from? I can't bring myself to buy a boxed whiskey. You know, by the way, I made that really big, didn't I? I don't know who sourced it, but I don't know if I've tasted it. I don't think I have. Everybody, I'm just telling you right now, wherever things go tonight, consider this Bulleit Blender Select a must-buy. This is fantastic whiskey, and if you can get away from the fact that they didn't distill it and it came from other distilleries, if you can get away from that, if you can just think about what's inside the bottle and how it tastes, folks, this is a good pour. This is a really, really good pour. I don't want to let it go. I kind of want to cradle up with it and read a book. This whiskey makes me want to think. I want to think, which doesn't happen often. All right. So that one is definitely staying in. There's a slight chance I might take out one other one. But here we go with Barrell Batch 21. Once again, this finished in my top 10 of American whiskeys last year. I picked it to be my best blend of straights. I thought it was the best thing that Barrells came out with since their gray label 15-year-old. So in other words, the best whiskey that they put out all last year. And, oh, yeah. Oh, man. I'm really digging that nose. It's like a confectionery superhighway. Like you're walking into a place where they're making muffins and donuts, and there's flour everywhere. And people are kneading dough, and you got someone over here putting icing on something. It has all that smell of you walk into this place, and it is just straight money. Oh. Oh, yeah. Man. I went and made myself have a hard competition tonight. I am in the middle of feeling this oily structure just kind of walk across my palate. Now, I need to address something here. Now, Andrew says, my wife doesn't like your nightly reviews. You cost me more money on new bottles to try each night. Listen, I can't be held accountable for that. Perhaps I should start with a disclosure of like, I can't be held responsible for the whiskey you buy, so don't blame me. I have been asked to review whiskey collections in a divorce proceeding. Oh, that wasn't fun. Of course, Rare Bird always being the smart aleck. Wait until he starts wearing ascots. That's it. That's where it's at. So let me go ahead and polish off my thoughts on 21. All right, folks. 21. Barrell Batch 21 is everything that I thought it would be. And you know what? Deep inside it, buried underneath all the caramel, the cornbread, and a lot of these other notes is one strong marzipan. We've had 2 marzipan sightings tonight. Marzipan. So, I have eliminated Duke from tonight. I do believe I'm going to have to make an elimination of another to get into the finals for myself, to see what this is, to see what my winner will be. So I'm going to now go back to Blackened to see if I need to have a showdown. Because technically, this, if I'm going to have a showdown between styles, it's going to be between this and Midwinter's Night's DRAM because of the use of rye and additional barrels. Whereas Duke, Bulleit, and Barrell were all straight bourbon. So I have to choose between these two about which one is going home. Pack your cork. You're going home. Yeah. I tell you what, this is really, really good whiskey. It really is. If you haven't picked up a bottle yet, you will find it's actually tasty. But it's not going to, if you're a bourbon fan, it's not going to suit your fancy unless you're an explorative bourbon fan. But tonight, it's up against some heavy hitters, Midwinter's Night DRAM, this new Bulleit product, and of course, the product that won San Francisco. So I think the fact that it finished ahead of Duke should be commended because it's actually quite a bit less expensive than Duke. So here we go. So that would mean Midwinter's Night DRAM won that taste off. Let's see if we have any questions here I should answer. Now, Frank brings up an interesting point, and it always comes down to, like, what does money mean to you? Like, right now, money means a lot to me. To be quite candid with you, with where the state we are right now, we're all hurting. And so I'm not finding myself spending money on bourbon. I'm really not. I'm not finding myself spending things on non-essentials because, you've got to focus on what's really most important. And I'm pretty well stocked in the bourbon department. I'm pretty well stocked, but if you have a couple pennies to spare, if you can buy something good right now, do it. This is definitely a buyer's market. And those asshole liquor stores that have been selling their pappies and everything for 15,000 times over the SRP, they might be willing to part with one of those for far less than the SRP here pretty soon. So let's get back to... Oh, man. I'm nosing the Bulleit, and the Bulleit is just straight money. Oh, man. Jeff asks, any tips for negotiating with secondary sellers given the state of the world? I have none. Hopefully someone in the comment section will. Okay, so an interesting thought comes out in this nosing exercise. I can almost pinpoint with certainty, the distilleries used three of the distilleries used in here. I would almost guarantee you that Barton was used to create batch 21. I would absolutely guarantee you that Dickel was used to create 21. And I would also guarantee you that MGP or Lawrenceburg, Indiana was used. And I pick this is a little bit of insight into my brain, if you will, but I pick up Dickel smells on the right side, on my right nostril. And it's always been that way. And so, like, anytime that there is a blend with Dickel in it, it's like the other whiskeys in that blend are not there. It's like I can smell that. And I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say, but I can smell that distillery on the right side of my nose when there's multiple brands in there. So that's one of the things about tasting. You got to study yourself. You got to see how you feel. You got to see where you pick up things on your nostrils and your palate. That'll help you in your journey to taste. All right. Tim, that would be Richland rum. Okay, so we have a situation where both of these are coming down. It's a fight. I find myself leaning toward Bulleit on the nose heavily. And then I get to the palate, and it's a little bit of equal. So DRAM Man, Kentucky, you actually smell different smells on different side of the nose. It's to separate the smell for survival or tasting, whatever whirls for you. That's a good point, DRAM Man. My survival is all about whiskey. Bringing in the Midwinter's Night DRAM. Okay. The proof on Barrel Batch 21 is 106.3 proof. All right, guys. I have confirmed that I definitely want Midwinter's Night DRAM facing off with one of these two. I now must go through my finishing exercise. They're not necessarily equals, but I need to study how long the finish is, because I think I have my mind made up. But if there's a finish that is really longer than the other, which in the back of my, I think there might be, I need to be able to say that with certainty. So here I go. I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to say anything about the nose. I'm going to go through my process. I'm going to taste it, and then I'm going to fill it on my palate, and I'm going to count out. And however long it's on there is how long the finish is. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the Barrell Bourbon Batch 21 had a 30-second finish. 30 seconds. That is a long finish. And I suppose I could probably make that a little bit more attractive for the viewers at home. My thing has always been doing that, but I guess I could do a countdown. There you go. There you go, folks. That is the finish of Bulleit Blenders Select. I saw some commentary in the chat about the length of a finish. I happen to sip a lot of whiskey, and they don't all finish the same. I would tell you that there's always going to be residual finish for 4 minutes, but on your palate, there's an immediate finish. I would call it a finish zone, if you will. I've actually never really written about this, but even now I still feel this on there, but it's not, the intensity is gone. What I do is I only feel the flavor of what was there, and you can feel that flavor for a long time, but once that intensity dissipates, once that is gone, then the finish is gone, in my opinion. So that right there was an extraordinarily long finish for me. Some of the longest finish I've ever had on a whiskey was 12 minutes. The most contemporary ones will be, 15 seconds to 30 seconds. But so I'm looking here at so this is over a minute and 20 seconds. So that was much longer than Barrell. So Barrell goes into let me see if I like it over Midwinter's Night DRAM, though. Yeah, I do like Midwinter's Night DRAM to go head-to-head with Barrell. Okay. So Midwinter's Night DRAM. Up against Bulleit. I really like the Bulleit. I really, really like the Bulleit. Welcome, Mr. Gore. Welcome to the show. That was good. That was good. That was really, really good. So now it is time to put Midwinter's Night DRAM through the finish test. Oh, too soon. Midwinter's Night DRAM just kind of tickles the top of the palate quite a bit. And almost. I would say marzipan went to Barrell tonight. And that'll do it for the finish there. So there you go, folks. The winner for tonight's tasting is Bulleit. How about that? Now let me tell you, I did not come into this thinking that Bulleit was going to stand much of a chance, but Ebony blended an amazing whiskey here, and the question came in as to whether or not authenticity comes into my ratings. Look, if you're looking at a bottle and you're thinking about what if you're looking at a bottle and trying to figure out like where it came from, does the story matter? Look, folks, whiskey doesn't lie. When it's hitting that palate, when you're putting it upon your nose, whiskey does not lie. It's like a sprinter. A sprinter can like talk all the shit he wants all day long. A cornerback can talk all the shit he wants all day long. But at the end of the day, when the whistle blows, when the gun is fired, it's whoever's fastest. And that's it. Like, I'm not joshing you. I'm not lying to you. Like, I love Barrell. Especially batch 21. It really, I've always liked it. But I'm not going to, tell you that I think Bulleit is less of a bourbon tonight or less of a whiskey tonight because of my past experience with Barrell. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to discredit or discount the quality of the whiskey that's in that bottle because of, family drama that's playing out, or the fact that the recipe, may not be legit from I'm judging it based on the whiskey. That's it. I'm not basing it on anything else. If this was 1,000% blind, if I knew nothing about the bottles that this was in, like, I would do the same thing. Like, I would not have any kind of, feel or thought as to what it was originally. So that's my opinion on when it comes to sipping the whiskey. It's about the whiskey. It's not about the story. It's not about the marketing. It's not about the celebrities. Is the whiskey good? That's my thought. What else do we have here from a question perspective? Fred, does opening your mouth kill the finish? I think that varies by the taster. I think you have to know how and this question comes from Jason Abbott on Facebook. You have to know yourself, you have to know your palate and what you like, how you feel. To me, it's more about mood. And sometimes if you open your mouth, it's could be like a relaxation of the jaw or whatever. Like you have muscles here that needs to open, but it varies per person. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I think opening the jawline could have an impact on the finish, because at the end of the day, if you know how you taste, you know how you taste. That's it. All right, let's see if we Dave here says, promise you the Blender Select is reminiscent of a good OESF pick. I prefer it over the standard OBSF shelfer. Yeah, right on, man. Right on. So as we keep it about the whiskey, I appreciate all the kind words here that people are saying about the show. Please click that subscribe button. Let everyone know about it. Hit that thumbs up. The thumbs up helps the algorithms. It helps people find this YouTube channel. And every night I'm doing this, talking about whiskey, sipping whiskey, and trying to educate the masses. So let everybody know. And thank you all so much for joining. Just remember, as we are all isolated, as we are all trying to find our place in this world, at the end of the day, this is a place we can gather. We're all still trying to get through this, but a good DRAM can still connect us in a lot of ways. It really can. And even if it's from afar. And let me ask you all, would you like to do a virtual tasting? Would you like to get together and have a pour? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to, you all watch this, write to me, tweet to me. What would you like to see? What would you like to do? I'm really trying to bring the community, the whiskey community, together for us to have a good time and maybe escape for a moment from everything that's going on and enjoy a DRAM together. Am I right? Is it wrong? I don't think so. So you all let me know what you all would love to do. I don't have much of an organized community here. It's just everyone kind of comes when they come, but maybe we can figure something out. I think we can. Oh, man. Everybody, this Bulleit Blender Select is just fantastic. It is so good. And so that was the Battle of the Blenders for today. And the winner is Bulleit. I am out for the night. I hope you all be safe out there. Wash your hands. Be kind to one another. Be kind. Be kind. And remember, vodka sucks, which completely disregards to being kind, unless it's being used for hand sanitizer. Cheers.